Hi everyone, it's Kino here. Thanks so much for tuning in to this Ashtanga Yoga Beginner Series. This is class 2, and today we're going to be continuing our journey of the practice by moving into the balancing poses. This challenging addition to the Ashtanga Yoga series really demands dynamic flexibility, so you can integrate strength and flexibility. I hope you'll enjoy this practice together with me. So let's get started. Come to a comfortable seated position. Close your eyes. Hands in prayer. As you exhale, rest your hands down to any comfortable position. Be aware of your breath, your body, your mind. Using these 3 anchors of awareness to turn your mind's point of attention inward. And then on the next exhalation, firm your pelvic floor. And on the next inhale, slowly open the eyes. Now let's come on up to Samastitihi so we can get started. Here we are at our yoga mats, and what I would like for you to do now is to stand with your feet about hips width apart. And from here, take your hands to the muscles of the lower abdomen. All right, so we've got the muscles of the lower abdomen here. And then draw the navel deeply in. So when you inhale, we're thinking about creating space in this triangular region of the low belly. All right, so when we're inhaling, there's this feeling of a deep sense of spaciousness right in that low belly region. And now, feeling this sense of spaciousness, we're going to do it easy on the first one. I want you to bend your knees as you exhale and try to draw the muscles of the belly in and fold the chest down onto your thighs. Then dangle your arms down and then relax your head. Layer your arms over each other and rest your forehead on your forearms. Then connect in with your bandhas. And don't just do it with the legs, but I want you to activate your pelvic floor and then inhale, send the hips back and up. So we're going to do a hanging forward bend. And this is different. Yeah, hips back and up. So it just means that your hips move back, which means your head moves down. And we're just going to hang our forward bend for a little while here. So in your hanging forward bend, I want you to just kind of swing a little from side to side for a moment. And then pay attention to where your pelvis is. So we have worked one component of a forward bend, which is that bandha region, the belly drawing in. And then I want you to work the next component of your forward bend. You're already probably feeling your hamstrings, but I'd like for you to feel your entire back of the leg. So do this by shifting your body weight forward and thinking about your thigh bones moving back into the pelvis, like the head of the femur is just kind of settling into its socket. Let's give the hamstrings a break for a moment, bend the knees, and then on the next inhale, you'll send the hips back and up and drop the head down. Then we'll add in component number 3 of our forward bend, which is elongating the spine. And you want to do this by just relaxing the back muscles. Any tension that you feel in the back, relax, release. And then shift your body weight forward to the front of the foot, lift the kneecaps, and then explore that forward fold. Check in with the bandhas, make sure they're engaged. And now we have these 3 elements of our forward bend. Then release your hands, lift your head up and take your fingertips on the mat. And I just want you to explore shifting your weight forward, shifting your weight back. Shifting your weight forward and try to engage pelvic floor when you shift forward. Shift your weight back. Do it one more time. Shift your weight forward, engage pelvic floor. Shift your weight back, bend the knees. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Let's shake that out for a moment. Okay? Good. So we talked about 3 elements of your forward bend. We have this bandha region where we're drawing the muscles of the lower abdomen in. Then we have the lengthening of the whole back of the legs, where the whole back of the leg is lengthening. And then we have the back muscles, which are relaxing. And we'll continue to review those forward bend techniques as we get into the practice today. I have 2 yoga blocks and I'll probably be using them today. So if you want to set up your 2 yoga blocks, that's a good idea. Okay, everyone, let's get started with our practice. So if you'll come on up to Samastitihi. Come on up to Samastitihi, bases of the big toes together. Tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth. Feel the whole spine just aligned along the center, the central axis of the body. Feel the skeletal structure being supported by this alignment. The shoulder blades gently rolling down the back, the kneecaps lifting slightly. Feeling the bases of the big toes rooted into the ground, and a little bit of energy that seems to rise out through the very tip and top of the head. And from this place, we are ready to begin Surya Namaskar A, or Sun Salutation A. So inhale as you externally rotate the shoulders and raise your hands, reach up. Exhale, draw the bandhas in as you pivot forward and down and fold forward. Inhale, we lift the head up, deep breath in. Exhale, flatten the hands, step on back to plank and lower down to Chaturanga, like a push-up position. Inhale, lift your chest, roll forward and over the toes, and we've got upward facing dog. Exhale, come on back to downward facing dog. And then we'll stay here for 5 breaths. So in downward dog, check in with your body and see if your legs want to be straight, or if you prefer a little bend in the knees to help pivot inside the hip joints, and we can hold it there. Long deep breath in, long deep breath out. Keep it nice and easy. Remember, no fight, no rush. Nice and easy. It's looking good. And then let's go for one more long deep breath in. Long deep breath out. Switch your gaze forward. Then as you inhale, we'll walk the feet forward between the hands. Lift the chest away from the thighs, and then exhale, fold. Inhale, activate pelvic floor, stand up, externally rotate the shoulders, reach powerfully up, Samastitihi, back to standing. Good, we'll do it again. Inhale the first breath, raise your hands, reach up through the center line. Exhale, pivot from the hip joints, draw the navel in as you fold forward and down. Then inhale, send the hips back, lift the chest, deep breath in. Exhale, come on back, find your plank pose, and all the way down to Chaturanga. Inhale, lift your chest upward facing, a big breath in. Exhale, roll it on back to downward facing. Take a moment and stabilize your downward dog. If downward dog gets too intense, you can always sink your knees down and go for the half downward dog. And we'll stay here for 5 breaths. Drawing the navel in. Find your downward dog, so if it's better for you to be up with your straight legs, you can do that too. 3. The navel is in. Focus on rolling the shoulders open and cultivating that inner sense of heat and fire. 4. We're almost there. Keep the navel deeply in. 5. Lift the head up and inhale as you walk forward between the hands. Exhale, fold. Come on down. Inhale, navel is in. Stand up. Raise your hands. Reach high. Samastitihi. Back to standing. Good. Let's do it again. Inhale, find your center line. Reach up. Exhale, draw the navel in as you fold forward and down. Inhale, chest moves forward. And exhale, come on back, find a good plank and Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing, deep breath. Exhale, downward facing, push it on back. Open through the shoulders. 1, Nice and easy. Let that inner heat really get started. Connect each breath down into the pelvic floor. 2. Remember, if it's too intense, you can come down to that half downward dog or even all the way down to child's pose if it's better for you. 4. Find what works, where your tapas is, and respect and honor the work that your body asks you for. 4. And 5, lift your head up and curl the toes, walking them forward as you inhale. And exhale, fold. Inhale, stand up, draw the navel in, rise up along the center line. Samastitihi, back to standing. We got 2 more times so we can really get that fire turned on. Inhale, reach powerfully up, flowing with the breath. Exhale, hips move back, spiraling in, deep in the center of the pelvis. Inhale, chest moves away from the thighs, deep breath. Exhale, come on back, find your plank, and down to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing, lifting the spine. Exhale, downward facing, rolling back. Shoulders open. 1. Keep drawing the muscles of the low belly deeper in. 2. 3. Nice and easy. Stabilize the shoulders. Keep those rolling open. 4. And 5. Switching the gaze forward, stabilize shoulders, and inhale all the way forward between your hands. Exhale, fold. Again, inhale, stand up. Raise your hands. Connect that movement to your breath, and samastitihi, back to standing. Okay, everybody ready? 1 more. This is the last Surya Namaskar A. Inhale as you raise the hands. Deep breath in. Exhale. Roll through the hip joints. Come on down. Inhale. Deep breath. And exhale. Come on back. Find your plank and Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing, roll the shoulders down the back, lift the spine. Exhale, push it on back to downward facing. Take a moment and settle in your downward dog. 1. Nice and easy. 2. 3. Equalizing your breath. 4. 5. Switch your gaze forward and inhale all the way forward, chest up. Exhale, fold, go down. Inhale, stand up. Reach your hands high, samastitihi, and back to standing. Good. Take a moment and be aware of that internal fire, that heat that's coming in. Now we move to Surya Namaskar B, and remember that you're welcome to use the blocks if it's more difficult to step forward and back from Warrior 1. So if you feel a little tighter, we can set the blocks up. If you don't need them, you can just do it without the blocks, but I'll show you with the blocks. I'll do it for this one at least. Now, Surya Namaskar B, remember, bend your knees, squeeze the knees together, Utkatasana. Inhale, raise your hands, Utkatasana. Exhale, fold your chest onto your thighs, straight legs, go down. Inhale, lift the chest, hands on the blocks if you're going to use them. And exhale, find your plank position and Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing, deep breath. Exhale, downward facing. Roll it on back. Now we step forward to Warrior 1. So your left heel is on the ground. Inhale, step your right foot forward. Raise your arms. External rotation of your shoulders. Exhale, hands on the blocks or the ground. Spin your left foot forward, plank, and exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Turn your right foot out. Inhale as you extend the left foot forward. Warrior one, left side. Raise the arms. Exhale, hands down. Back to plank and Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Now, if you've been using the blocks, I want you to come off the blocks for your downward facing dog as we stay for 5. 1. If you're feeling very winded or exhausted, sink the knees down, child's pose or half downward dog. Keep breathing. 2, 3, 4, 5. If you're using the blocks, hands back on the blocks. And then inhale, walk your feet forward between the hands, chest up. Exhale, fold, head down. Now Utkatasana, bend your knees. Inhale, raise your hands. Samastitihi, back to standing. Okay, you feel that inner heat that comes up from Surya Namaskar B? It's achieving its purpose. Now we do it again. Bend your knees. Inhale, raise your hands, Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, chest on your thighs, straight legs, head down. Inhale, lift your chest. And exhale, come on back, find your plank and Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Right side warrior one. Inhale, step it forward. Deep breath in. Arms up. Exhale, hands down. Spin your left foot forward. Back to plank and Chaturanga. Inhale, again, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Okay, left side. Right foot turns out, left foot forward. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands down. Spin the right foot forward, plank and down, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Okay, let's step off the blocks if you're on them. 1, 2, it's looking good. Keep those hips moving back and up. 3, lengthen and deepen your breath. 4, 5. If you're using the blocks, step back on them and inhale, walk your feet forward, chest up. Exhale, fold, go down. Bend the knees. Inhale, raise your hands. Samastitihi. Very good. Okay, now for the last Surya Namaskar B, and we've got one more. I'm going to count for you in the traditional Sanskrit. So this is how we really move into that very traditional Vinyasa method where the Sanskrit count is coordinated with inhale or exhale. So we'll still be doing the same movements, and just instead of only saying inhale and exhale, I'll also be counting for you in Sanskrit. So here we go. Surya Namaskar B, bend your knees. Ekam, inhale, raise your hands. Dwe, exhale, fold, go down. Trini, inhale, deep breath. Chatwari, come on back, find your plank. Chaturanga. Pancha, inhale, upward facing. Shat, exhale, downward facing. Sapta, inhale, warrior one, right side, step forward. Raise your arms, big breath in. Ashtu, exhale, find your plank, and Chaturanga. Nava, inhale, deep breath. Dasha, exhale, move it on back. Ekadisha, inhale, left side, deep breath in, arms up. Dwadisha, exhale, find a good plank and Chaturanga. Trayogdisha, inhale, Chaturanga, exhale, downward facing. All right, if you're on the blocks, let's go on out. If you're feeling very winded, knees down, half downward dog or child's pose. 1. Check in with breath and body. 2. It's looking good. Find your version of the posture. 3. 4. 5. If you're using the blocks, step back on them and inhale. Walk your feet forward between the hands. Pancharisha, inhale. Shodisha, exhale. Fold. Bend the knees. Saptadisha, inhale. Samastitihi. Come on back up. Good. Now, close your eyes for a moment and feel that inner heat, that fire of purification, which is the inner state of tapas. Feel breath, body, and mind. And then gently open the eyes. If you're using the blocks, let's take a moment and reposition them so they're in a good spot for the standing poses. If you're not going to use the blocks, then you don't need to do that little rearrangement of our yoga furniture. So now we begin the standing poses, and I like to set the blocks up for, triangle pose, which is coming, so it's about a distance of one of your own legs length apart. You don't need to copy my distance because I'm probably a tad smaller than you are. Okay, so let's do our first standing pose. Move your feet hips width apart. You can be placed anywhere that's comfortable for you on your mat. Just like we did in our warm-up today, draw the navel in to carve out the spaciousness and the cavernous nature of the pelvis. And then as you exhale, pull your femurs or your thigh bones back into their sockets, dangle your arms down. If you need to bend your knees to hold on to your big toes, you can do that. Otherwise, keep them straight. Inhale, extend the chest forward, gaze down the bridge of the nose, create the space. Exhale, fold, head down. Good. Roll the elbows back and try to remember deep, steady breathing. 1. Gently shift your body weight a little bit forward. Relax back muscles, relax neck. 3. It's looking good. Keep breathing. Try to straighten the legs as much as possible. 4. Almost there. 5. Inhale, straighten the arms. Exhale here. Now, Pada Hastasana, where you step your hands underneath your feet, so lift up the toes and put the whole hand under. If you cannot do that comfortably with straight legs, then bend your knees and get the hands under, and then try to straighten your legs as much as you can. Inhale, gaze down the bridge of the nose, and exhale, fold. We stay for 5. 1. Deep, steady breathing. 2. Lift the kneecaps, draw the navel in. 3. Remember those forward bend components. Lean a little bit forward. 4. If you feel like you're going to fall, work that edge. 5. Inhale. Extend the arms. Exhale here. Then remove your hands. Activate pelvic floor. Inhale. Come all the way up while gazing down. Samastitihi. Very good. Okay, we're going to step out to the side. Traditionally, it's with the right foot, but I'm going to step out with the left so that you can see my better side. So as you step out to the side, this is that place to kind of check the arrangement of your blocks. We'll open the feet out to the side. Extend your arms. Good. Now you're going to feel that right hip joint. All right, so I want you to externally rotate the right hip joint. Got it? Then long big inhale and then exhale, fold, fold, fold. And you can just dangle your arm, hold on to your shin, hold on to your big toe, or you can reach your fingertips or your hand flat on that yoga block, and we'll gaze up to the left side. 1, draw the navel in, keep it nice and steady. 2, remember, feel your breath, feel your body, no competition. Find your version of the triangle pose. Just like in geometry class, there are many different types of triangles. Find the one that's most aligned with your energy. 4. Navel is in. 5. Okay, look down. Activate pelvic floor. Inhale, come up. Turn, switch the sides. Okay, before you go down, find your legs, find your bandhas, find the pelvic floor. Then, as you exhale, pivot into the left hip joint, reach down, hold on to ankle, hold on to your toe, the big one, or you can take fingertips or your hand on the block. And we'll stay for 5. 1. It's looking good. You can gaze up to the right fingers. However, if that strains your neck in any way, just find a gaze in that as close to that direction as possible. 3, deep, steady breathing. 4, slow the mind down with each cycle of breath. 5, exhale as you look down. Inhale, engage your legs, rise up. Pivot around to the other side. Now, pause here for a moment, drop your hands. Then I want you to just really grab hold of your iliac crests or your hip bones and point those forward over the right side. Then, left foot 45 degrees turned outward. Extend your left arm up. And then exhale as you fold. And you can reach your hand to the ground on the inside of the foot, on top of your foot, on a block on the outside, or on the floor on the outside. Then expand your chest and reach your right arm up and big twist. 1, lift the chest. 2, as much as possible, keep the pelvis stable and equal. 3, 4, almost there. Keep reaching, breathing. The hands are in line with each other. Don't wing out that right hand, just reach it straight up. 5, look down. Inhale, come all the way up. Spread out the arms. Exhale, pivot around and pause for a moment. And just grab your iliac crest and let's turn those forwards. Looking good. Okay, now inhale as you lift your right arm up. And then exhale, pivot, reach, pivot, reach. Find out if you could take a right hand on the ground, on the foot, on the floor, on the outside. If you're using a block, line up your fingers and toes, and you can do fingertips or hand flat. Press into the block or the floor and extend the left arm. 1, 2, remember deep breathing. Gaze up to the left hand as much as possible. 3, open the chest. Powerful opening of the chest. 4, almost there. 5, let's look down. Inhale all the way up. Spread the arms. Samastitihi, come on back up to the front of your mat. Great, now extended side angle pose. So inhale, we'll take a slightly bigger step out to the right. Good. Then turn the right hip joint out, bend the right knee. Great. Then hook your right forearm. All right. If you want to take your hand right to the floor, you can. Let's leave that left arm hanging up. Then we're going to scoop the shoulder. So I want you to scoop your left shoulder around. Open the left side body. And then gaze up to the left fingers. You can stay on your forearm. You want to take it down to the block or down to the floor. That works as well. I'm going to stay on the forearm for today. 1. Oh, it's looking so good, everyone. Good job. 2. Keep the legs strong, the chest open. 3. That left side of the pelvis moves back. 4. Almost there. Strong, strong legs. 5. Drop that left hand down and inhale all the way up. Good. Switch your sides. Turn that left hip joint out. Exhale as you bend the left knee. Hook the left forearm and lean the body over to the left side. You want to take hand on the floor? You can. Then scoop the right shoulder around and let that open the chest and open the right side body and gaze up to the left fingers. And you can take left hand on the ground if it's better for you. If you're on your forearm, I want you to push with that forearm. Push with the arm. Nice and easy. 1. Looks good. 2. 3. Keep breathing. 4. We're almost there. 5. Scoop that right arm down and inhale all the way up. Okay, Purvatinasana B. You're going to turn your hips to the back and then exhale, the easiest entry into the posture, taking your left knee on the ground, and then exhale as you spiral around. And at this point, you could take your hands in prayer, or you could take your left hand onto that yoga block, pushing into the block and extend, or left hand on the ground, and then slowly lifting your back leg off the ground, and we'll stay for 5. 1. And maybe you decide after you're up that hands in prayer was better. It's all good. 2. 3. Stay with your breath, deep breathing. 4. 5. Look down. Inhale all the way up. Spread the arms. And exhale, we switch the side. So if you're going to take that right knee down, go ahead and sink the right knee down. Good. Then as you exhale, just lean over and try to get the whole body over to the side. All right? And then the hands in prayer. Let me show you from this side so you get an alternative view. As you reach over, hands come into prayer, lifting up that back leg while you send the left knee forward. Or your hand down and extend. We'll stay for 5. 1. If you're sweating, enjoy the sweat. 2. 3. Nice and easy. 4. Almost there. 5. Look down. Inhale all the way up. Samastitihi. Come on back up to the front. Very good. Now we do our wide leg forward bends. Inhale, let's step out to the side. Hands on your natural waist. And draw the navel in. Exhale, fold forward, taking your hands down. If you feel a little tighter in your hamstrings, then I want you to grab one of those yoga blocks and place it out in front. Okay? Inhale, lift your chest. Deep breath in. Exhale, fold forward. You can aim the top of the head towards the yoga block, and we'll stay for 5. If it's too easy for you on your yoga block, take your head on the ground. All right? 1. Activate your inner thighs. 2. 3. Nice and easy. 4. 5. Shift the hips back. Inhale, let's lift the head up and exhale. Now take your hands to the waist as you keep your gaze down and inhale all the way up. Again, exhale. Very good. Inhale, extend the arms. Reach, reach. Exhale, hands to your waist. Again, inhale. Big breath in. Exhale, pivot forward. Relax your back muscles and aim your top of the head towards the block or the floor and really activate your inner thighs. The navel is in. Deep breath. Shoulders roll down the back. 1. 2. Keep the legs active. 3. 4. Almost there. 5. Let's shift the hips back and inhale again while gazing down. Slowly come up. If you come up too quickly, you might get a little dizzy. Okay, we got 2 more of these wide leg forward bends. Inhale, extend the arms, big reach. Exhale, interlock the fingers behind the back, then roll the shoulders forward. If you cannot comfortably hold on to your hands, then grab a towel or a yoga strap and hold on to that instead. Inhale, big breath in. Exhale, pivot forward and placing the head on the block if that's appropriate. Relax your shoulders down and just lean forward. So the purpose is not to get the hands on the ground, but just to relax through the shoulder joints. So you want to find out what works for you. All right. 2, if you need to come off of the block for more space, and then do that. 3, nice and easy. 4, 5, switch your gaze down and inhale all the way up and again, exhale. Take your hands to the waist if you need to scoot your feet in. Sometimes the feet like to slide out to the side. That's okay. You can scoot them in a little bit. Then inhale again, prepare. Lift your chest, exhale, pivot forward and down. This time we hold on to the big toes. You need to bend the knees to hold the toes, then go ahead and do that. Inhale, straight arms and as legs straight as possible. Lift your chest forward. Exhale again, the top of the head either on the block or on the floor. Lift the shoulder blades down the back. 5 deep breaths. 1. If you notice there's a lot of weight in your thumbs, and your thumbs are kind of taking your body weight, try to lift your thumbs off of the ground and distribute the work of the posture into the shoulders and the pelvic floor instead. 4, almost there. 5, shift the hips back. Inhale, we lift the head up and exhale. Inhale, hands to your waist. Let's come all the way up and Samastitihi. Come on back up to standing. Okay, if you want to move your yoga blocks over to the side, you might not need those for a little bit. All right, now we've got Parvo Tanasana. So we take the hands and you can either hold your elbows behind the back, or if that's too easy, then you can do fists into each other. And if that's too easy, then you can do prayer position behind the back by pressing your fingertips and your whole palms into each other. So find what's most comfortable for you, what's appropriate to work for today, and then Parvo Tanasana. Inhale, step out to the side. So this is slightly more narrow. It's like 1/5 more narrow than Trikonasana, or about something like that, okay? So left foot turns out to the side 45 degrees, heels lined up with each other. Draw the navel in. Inhale, prepare. So lift the ribs. And then exhale, draw that right hip joint back. And I want you to push a little weight onto the right side. When you get to about 90 degrees, then relax the back muscles. And you can do nose to the knee or forehead to the shin. And if you're extremely flexible, you could think about chin to the shin, but watch that it doesn't tense up your neck. We stay for 5. 1. Looking good. 2. So remember, as much as you fold forward, you're pulling back into the emptiness of the pelvis. 3. Check in with the body. How's it doing? 4. Almost there. 5, look down, inhale, come all the way up. Switch your gaze, switch your sides. Good, take a moment. Check your alignment of the feet. Right foot and hip externally rotated by 45 degrees. Then your chest, your pubic bone, and the left knee are attracted to each other. Next, we create the space for the posture. Inhale, prepare. Lift the ribs. And then exhale, fold, 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 and down. 1, chest reaches to the left knee. 2, steady breath. 3, 4, relax your back muscles, chest reaches towards that left knee more and more, it's looking good. 5, look down, inhale, come all the way up, release your hands, Samastitihi, come on back up to the front of the mat. Okay, let's shake that out, close the eyes, we do a little check-in. Now that we've completed Surya Namaskar in standing, sun salutations, and the foundational asanas, you should notice that there's kind of a complete tingly sensation, energy through each joint of the body, energy which you've cultivated, that tapas, that fire of purification. Good, then open the eyes. And now let's prepare for the balancing poses. So the balancing postures are, well, they're balancing. And I have some bad news for you, because the way that you best learn balance is to fall or topple off to the side. Sometimes people find that it's useful to come off of the yoga mat so that you can feel the floor underneath you for the balancing poses. So if you find that useful, you can step off of your mat. And if it doesn't bother you either way, you can remain on your yoga mat. Up to you. Now, Utkatasana Padangustasana is a single leg lift. And before we do this posture, I just want to show you a key element that I want you to think about, okay? So as we do a single leg lift, we're going to draw the right femur or right thigh bone back. And it's this back action of the right thigh bone and hip area scooping back that allows your leg to lift. So for those of you that have challenge in your balance or flexibility, you're going to hold underneath your knee. This is important, so take a look at this before you try. When you bring your leg out to the side, you're going to have to rotate your hip joint to bring the leg out to the side. So you lift the knee up and in. So you spiral through the hip joint, okay? This is probably the biggest piece of information that I want you to take away. Two of them, hip joint back, then to move it out to the side, number 2, spiral. When you come back to the center, hands to the waist, you pull the hip joint back and the leg is straight, all right? So you also have the option to straighten the leg, but at least for the first round of Utkatasana Padangustasana, I'd like us all to do it with the bent knee, all right? So take your hands to your natural waist, and then you draw that right hip joint back, and then inhale, hold underneath the knee, and then exhale, fold a little deeper, so just deepen the posture. 1, gaze steady, look at 1 point. 2, 3, 4, if you lose your balance, it's okay. 5, inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, spiral through the hip joint, rotate the hip joint. Good. 1, 2, get the rotation. 3, 4, almost there. 5, rotate the hip joint, bring it back to the center. Exhale, stabilize. Hands to your waist. Pull that hip joint back, straight leg. It can just be a little off the ground, doesn't need to be high. 1, but if it's high, you can keep it high. 2, 3, 4, almost there. 5, exhale, set it down. Ooh, check out how your left leg gets really worked. So the standing postures, we often think about that it's about the leg that's lifted, but it's the standing or balancing poses that we have to really root down in order to lift up. Let's try the other side. Left hip joint back. Inhale, pick it up. Good. Exhale, stabilize. Try to keep your left knee aligned with the left hip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, rotate the hip joint to bring it side. 1, if it's easy for you, you can look over to the right. Otherwise, just maintain your gaze. 2, 3, remember the bandhas, remember your breath. 4, 5, inhale, spiral the hip joint back to the center. Hands to your waist. Good. Inhale, extend. 1, remember it can be very low, but just keep it up. 2, hip joint back. If you can keep the leg high, you're welcome to keep it high. 4, and 5. Exhale, we set it down. Okay, shake it off. All right, I've got bad news for you. We're not done with Utkatasana Padangustasana. So if that last bit was very challenging for you, going to repeat it again. However, we have the option to try to straighten the leg. Now, some of you might find that you can straighten the leg with the use of a yoga strap. So if you want to use a yoga strap, then you have to hook your foot on the strap. And then we start off with a bent knee. And I'll just show you how to do that first. There's one big thing if you use a strap that it's important. Your heel has to be the same height as the hip. And the same thing when it moves out to the side. Do not let your heel drop below the hip. In that case, it would be better to bend the knee. All right? So if you use a strap, your heel has to be the same height as the hip. Okay? Now, if you don't want to use the strap, you can, of course, just take your fingers to your right big toe, just like we did before. Or we can repeat the same movement holding the knee. Find out what's better for you. Here you go. I'm going to show you with the strap on this side. So inhale as you prepare. You start off by really hooking that strap around, go on the inside, pull that right hip joint back, and you can stay here if you don't feel good. Otherwise, hip joint back, straight leg. You want to hold on to your big toe? You can. If it's easy for you, exhale, fold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Give a little pull with your right arm if you've got the strap. 5, inhale, lift your head. Exhale, rotate the hip joint. Bring leg side and try to keep the heel above the pelvis if you're using the strap. 1, if it's too much, just bend the knee. 2, 3, you want to touch the wall for a little balance. Go ahead and touch the wall. 4, 5, look to the center. Inhale, back to the center. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift your head up, release the strap. Lift the leg. 1. Remember, it doesn't have to be very high, not a competition. Straight is more important. 2, squeeze bandhas. 3, 4, 5. Exhale, come on down. Shake it out. Forgive yourself. All is good. If it was very difficult, you can go near the wall. Use a wall for a little balance, okay? Now we try again. I'll show you with the strap on the other side. Okay, so the strap, the hardest thing about the strap is getting that foot in there. So you get that foot in there, okay? Then inhale, come on up. You can hold onto your big toe if you don't want to use strap, or you can just hold the knee. If you're going to straighten the leg, straighten, and a little bit of pull with your left arm. Exhale, deepen and fold. If you're going to fold, 1. 2, try to get that heel above the pelvis. 2, if the heel is not above the pubic bone, consider reverting to bending the knee. 3, 4, 5. Inhale, let's lift the head up. Exhale, rotate the hip joint. Bring it side. Try to stabilize inside the pelvis. 1, heel above the pubic bone. 2, if it's easy for you, look to the right. 3, 4, 5. Inhale, back to the center. Spiral it in. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come up. Release the strap. Straighten the leg, lift it. No competition. Anywhere off the ground is fine. Work those lower abdominal muscles. 2, 3, keep working. 4, 5. Exhale, come on down. Ooh, shake that out. Okay, now we can leave strap for a little bit. So just move it a little over to the side. Now we continue with the standing poses. In the next standing pose, we'll do the modification first, and then we'll go a little bit deeper into it. So Ardabada Padma Tanasana is a standing half lotus. Now before we worry about half lotus, we need to really feel the external rotation of our hip joints. So I want you to, again, draw the navel in. And then we'll do this with tree pose. So bend your right knee, then externally rotate your hip joint. All right, so get that external rotation in place. Glide your right foot onto the calf muscle. If that's comfortable, then you can go all the way up to the inner thigh. Draw the navel in, and we'll take hands in prayer. And I want 5 breaths here. 1. Now, in some other classes in tree pose, you may have raised your hands up after 5 breaths. Don't do that, because we're going to see if we can deepen the posture a little bit, okay? 2. Work your tree pose, so keep it active around your hip crease. 3, it's looking good. 4, almost there. Okay, 5, take your hands down. Reach for your ankle and see if you can hold your ankle. Release your foot. Keep your knee joint closed, and then just glide yourself into a standing half lotus. Demi-point your right toes and take the left hand and hold on to the right toes. Reach around the back, taking your right hand to the left elbow, and we'll stay another 5 breaths. 1, your left leg is working. I know, it's okay. 2, 3, 4. Okay, now let's give that left leg a break. So we'll come around, come back to your tree pose, and then all the way down to Samastitihi. So we don't want to overwork any part of the body. Instead, we repeat it twice. So we're going to do the left side now. I want you to draw the navel in, get that external rotation of the left hip joint, glide up to the calf muscle. If that's all you've got today, then hands in prayer and respect it. Otherwise, slide it on up. And then again, hands in prayer. Good, 5 breaths. 1, looking good. 2, so tree pose is a wonderful balancing pose. Remember, no competition. 3, 4. If a tree pose is difficult for you, maybe you just want to stay in tree. You don't need to accept the half lotus invitation. Reach down, hold on to your foot. If you're going to accept that invitation, keep knee joint closed. Draw heel above the pubic bone. Demi-point those left toes. Take right hand and hold on to it. Reach around the back, hold elbow. Good. Standing half lotus. 1. I want everybody who's trying the standing half lotus to check in with your left knee. Only if your left knee is comfortable and it points to the ground, do you want to think about attempting to fold forward, okay? So just place a mental note in that. We'll hold this for just 2 more breaths. Let's go for 1 more breath. Great. Now we release it. Go back to tree pose. Samasthitihi. Back to standing. Shake it out. Okay. Now we do it again. And then this time you get the invitation to fold forward. If the fold forward is too difficult for you, then please just remain standing. If the half lotus is not accessible, please just remain standing in tree pose, okay? So here we go. I want you to find the option that's right for you. External rotation of the right hip joint, find your tree pose. If tree pose is your limit, respect your limit. Otherwise, reach down, find your standing half lotus. Prepare. Hold the elbow. Some of you are very flexible. You may be able to hold your lotus foot. We won't worry about that right now. Exhale now, look down. Drop your right hand down. Reach, 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 reach for the floor. Drop your left hand down. Come onto your fingertips. Walk your hands back, both hands back. Exhale, head down. Stay for 5. 1, 2, 3. If it's too much, you can come out. 4, 5. Inhale, lift the head up. You can bend your left knee a little bit. Come onto your fingertips. Exhale here. Transfer your weight onto your leg. Slowly straighten that left leg. Find your balance. And Samasthitihi. Good. Great. Shall we do the other side? Okay. So now we move to the other side. I'm going to orient this way. Then we find that external rotation. We glide it on up. Check in with tree. Tree helps close the knee joint, which will protect it as we move into external rotation. Glide it on up, finding your half lotus position. Prepare. Holding the elbow, if you want to hold your lotus foot, you can. Exhale, fold forward, and you start to pivot. Now, you might be able to take your right hand on the ground only, and then slowly down. And at this point, you might be able to hold on to your lotus foot. And if that's too difficult, just take your both hands down and head down. 1, 2, check in with the left knee. If it's getting stressed, you want to come out. 4, keep it active. 5, inhale, we lift the head up. You can shift forward, keep your gaze down. You can give a little bend in your knees, and then inhale, slowly come up, pivoting at the hip joint. Exhale, Samasthitihi. Good job. Let's shake that off. Move your strap, clear your mat out of the way. Come on back to the front of your mat. Okay, hands by your side. Relax your neck. Relax your breath. We continue with a few more of the balancing poses. Inhale, straight arms, straight legs. Raise your arms. Exhale, pivot forward. Go down. Inhale, we lift the chest. Deep breath. Exhale, come on back. Find your plank and Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Big breath in. Exhale, downward facing. Big breath out. Now we'll come forward to Utkatasana and we'll hold for 5 breaths. You can step your feet forward, placing the bases of the big toes into each other, squeeze the knees, sink down into your hips, and then inhale, extend the arms. Good. So really get down into the hips. 1, you can gaze forward or you can do palms together and look at the thumbs. 2, deep breathing. 3, good job. Feel your breath. 4. Keep breathing. Squeeze your thighs. Remember tapas. If your thighs are burning, enjoy it. 4. Keep breathing. It's the eternal 4. It keeps repeating itself over and over. Enjoy it in the fire. 5. Exhale. Fold forward. Now, I want you to bend your knees. Keep the knees bent. Your legs are on fire. It's okay. Push into your shoulders and then step on back. Plank. Exhale. Chaturanga or all the way down. Inhale. Upward facing. A big breath in. Exhale. Downward facing. Big breath out. Okay, we're going to step forward to Warrior 1. Turn that left foot out, right foot forward. Inhale. Come on up. Good job. Square your pelvis forward. All right, leave your arms by your side and then externally rotate as you lift the chest and arms up. Very good. Then you have the option to press your palms into each other and look up or to gaze forward. Okay, everyone, your right thigh is burning. So is mine. I'm right here with you. We stay for 5. 1, observe the burning sensations. 2, recognize no permanent damage comes from burning the thighs, only high risk of soreness. 4, almost there. 5, see if you can keep the arms up. Inhale, exhale, pivot around to the other side. Maybe you need a moment. If you need a moment, you can take your hands down and realign, externally rotate, and come on back up. Good. Once we're in, we got our 5 breaths. 1, track your left knee in line with the ankle and in line with the left hip. 2, press and root firmly down into your right leg as you lift up. 3, 4, keep breathing, get down into the legs. 5, let's drop the hands down and now hold on to your hips. Turn your pelvis. So now check your hips. In Warrior 2, for whatever reason, we like to do a little hip hike, which might be cute, but isn't good alignment. So we want to drop that hip down. Good. Check it out. Draw the navel in. Think about both your thigh bones rolling back and then expand the arms. Gaze to the left. 1. Deep breaths. 2. Deep breathing. Feel the fire, feel the heat. 4, it's looking good. Spread the shoulder blades away from each other, equalize pelvis. 5, inhale. Exhale, pivot around. Let's just check the hips. So drop your hands to your hips. Watch that little left hip hike and then scoot it down so that the sitting bones and the bones of the pelvis are equal. Right knee over the ankle, belly is in. Inhale, expand the arms. Very good. 1. Deep breathing. Breathe with power. Breathe with sound. 2. 3, reach the arms equally in both directions. Watch the alignment. 4. 1 more breath. 5. Okay, let's take the hands down. So take a moment, spin the left foot forward. So we've got a little weird, what's called a weird vinyasa here. So I'm going to pitch your shoulders forward, and then we're going to come into plank position with the right knee into the chest. So inhale, and this is called pick it up. So we prepare, lifting it up. And let's just hold that for 2 breaths. 1 more breath as we lean forward, forward. Step back to plank. Exhale, Chaturanga, or all the way down. Inhale, upward facing, big breath in. Exhale, downward facing. Okay, now we make the transition to the seated poses. We're going to do just a few of the seated postures. So switch your gaze forward. Step your right foot, your left foot, cross your shin bones as you inhale. Then exhale, sit down. Straighten out your legs. Okay. Doesn't it feel good to sit down now after that big standing sequence? But don't be fooled. There's a lot of work to do in the seated poses. Okay, first of all, let's talk about flexibility. We've been working with a forward bend technique. When we sit down, the back tends to round like this. And it's very difficult to get the spine lifted up out of the pelvis. So if you're someone that it's very hard for you to lift the spine up out of the pelvis, trick number 1 is to take your fingers on the ground, scoot forward so your sitting bones have a little bit of space. And that might give you enough lift to lift your spine up out of the pelvis. If, however, you move the sitting bones, there's a big roundedness in your back, and you cannot remedy that, then you could grab a little blanket and then scoot your butt up onto that blanket, and that might give you a little extra space. So if you'd like to try that, it doesn't have to be a blanket. It could also be a towel. It could also be some piece of cloth or a very, very small, thin pillow. All right, so I'll keep that under for the sake of demonstration. Let's lift the kneecaps, spread the roots of the toes apart, and make sure the big toes are reaching towards each other. Then roll the shoulder blades down the back and take the hands next to the hips. Chin down, gaze at the nose tip, and this is Dandasana position, the yogi staff pose. Breathe along the spinal axis. Remember your bandhas. 1, 2, remember the feet. 3, 4, and gaze at the nose tip. 5, very good. Now we're gonna keep the back of the legs lengthening. I want you to try to pivot at your pelvis. So we do this by lifting the ribs away from the hips and then pivot forward. Try to localize that movement inside the pelvis. Explore where your hands reach. If you can hold your toes, hold your toes. If you cannot hold the toes, here are some alternatives. You can take your hands to your shin bones, or you can wrap a strap around your toes or your feet and hold on to them. So find out what's working better for you. And then I like the ankles better than the strap. Inhale, prepare. It's just my personal preference. And now exhale. Here's when you move into your exhale. After you've pivoted forward, remember that third component of forward bending. Relax your back muscles. You can tuck the head in and just think about folding in. Try to keep your thigh bones folding in. We'll stay for 5 breaths. 1, roll your shoulder blades down the back. 2, if you feel that as you fold, you can grip the toes, then go ahead for the toes. 4, draw the navel in. Keep releasing the spine out of the pelvis. 1 more breath. Remember, it's your breath, it's your body. Feel your breath, deepen it a little. Feel your body, just be with it in a state of peace. Inhale, straighten the arms. Now we deepen the posture. So if you were at your shin bones, then exhale, just pivot forward. If you were holding on to your big toes, then you might reach around and hold the outside of the feet or even interlock your fingers. If you had the strap around your toes, you might put the strap around your feet. And if you want to bend your knees a little, especially with a strap, that's fine as well. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, fold. 1. Relax your back muscles. 2. Keep drawing the low belly in so that as you fold, you elongate and relax, release. 4. Remember the spaciousness of our first forward bend. 1 more breath. Long, deep breath in. Long, deep breath out. Very good. Inhale. We straighten the arms. Exhale here. Walk your hands back and we'll bend the knees. Let's come off of our blanket over here. Good. Put that over to the side. Now we're going to do what's called we usually say this is a jump back and a jump through, but we're not going to jump today. We'll just go back and go through. Right? Sometimes people call this a vinyasa, but vinyasa, remember, is anything that coordinates breath with movement. So cross at your shin bones, hold your ankles, glide over as you inhale, roll over the shin bones, step on back to your plank pose. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing, big breath in. Exhale, downward facing, big breath out. Now we come back to seated. Switch your gaze forward. Step your right foot, left foot, cross at the shin bones as you inhale. Exhale, sink the hips back, straighten the legs, back to seated. Now we've done Dandasana position, which is a neutral spine, Pashi Matsanasana, which is a forward fold, and now we do Purvatinasana, which is a backwards bend. All right, we'll do it twice, and the first version is a modification. We'll bend the knees, Taking the feet about hips width apart, and this is also called reverse tabletop. Take your hands back behind you, roll the shoulders forward, all right? Now the idea is to really push the pelvis up and forward. So inhale as you send the hips up and forward, and we'll expand the chest and gaze at the nose tip. 1, 2. Enjoy your breath. 3. Open the front body. 4. Almost there. Keep breathing. 5. Exhale. Let's sit it down. Take a moment. Cross your feet. Shake that out in your neck and your shoulders for a moment. And now we're going to do reverse plank. If that was very challenging for you, you have neck issues, or it's just your body feel very heavy, repeat bending the knees again. Right? If we want to try reverse plank or Purvatanasana, straight legs, toes point. Keep the legs straight to start off. Now the purpose of Purvatsanasana is to lift the hips up and forward. Do not think that you need to touch your toes down, but in the effort of lifting your pelvis up, your toes may touch to the ground. Make sense? It's an important change in thinking. Take your hands back behind you, rotate the shoulders forward, draw the navel in. Then send the pelvis up and forward and inhale, reverse plank. 1, 2, gaze at the nose tip. 3, lift the body, expand the chest. 4, and 5, exhale, we sink it down. Ooh, that's a hard posture, isn't it? Okay, we cross the feet, roll over the shin bones, and inhale, back to your plank pose. Find your plank. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing, give me a big breath in. Exhale, downward facing, big breath out. Okay, we cross the feet, exhale, sit down. Bring it all the way out. We're going to do one more traditional seated posture. I'm just going to turn this way, orient towards you so you can see. Now we did the standing half lotus. So now we're going to do the seated half lotus position. We may need, our friends, these tools, the block and the strap. So you might want to have those handy. Okay, start off with the right side, and we're going to go through kind of the same movement we did from standing. This should actually be easier than the standing half lotus. Close your right knee joint. Check that out. If your right knee joint can close, you're already quite privileged physically, because not everybody can do that. So just take a moment and say, thanks, you closed me, I like you. Now, roll your hip joint externally. If your knee goes out to the side quite easily, lotus position might be accessible. If your knee is hovering, keep that block handy, okay? Now, keep the knee joint closed, and just like we did in standing tree pose, take the heel above the pubic bone and then spin it forward. Okay, if your knee is very elevated, or if you have any pain in the knee, I want you to grab that block and place your knee on the block. Then demi-point your right toes and hold on with the left hand. Reach around the back and hold on to the left elbow. If you can hold the left elbow, you might be able to take your hand to the foot. If not, go ahead and get that strap and reach the strap around so you can hold on to the strap. Then your left hand, you can hold the shin bone, or your left hand, you can hold on to the left foot. Make sure that that block is positioned so it supports the knee right in the middle. And this posture is called Ardabada, Padma, Pashi, Matsanasana. Bound half lotus, forward fold. All right, you ready? Inhale, prepare. Keep the left hand down. Carve out the pelvis. Exhale, fold. And when you fold, internally rotate the left hip joint and aim your chest center to the left side. We'll stay for 5 breaths. 1, 2, deep breathing. Find the version that's right for you. 3, if you cannot bind, you're also welcome to just leave that right shoulder internally rotated and the right hand reaching around your back. 4, looking good. Stay with your breath. 5, inhale. Let's straighten out that left arm. Exhale there. It's very important how we exit the posture. So slowly come out. If you got the block and the strap, let's move those over to the side. Go back into your tree pose. Drop the knee up and straighten the leg. Good, and we're gonna switch the sides. Sometimes we would jump back and jump through in between. Right now we switch the sides. Close that left knee joint and drop it on out to the side. And then keeping the knee joint closed so the calf muscle and the thigh stay close together. Then draw the left foot above the pubic bone, spiral over. Then we get that block in position if that's appropriate for a little extra support. It's important, under no circumstances do you want to try to push your knee to the ground. If it wants to go to the ground, it will. Demi-point your left toes, hold on with your right hand, reach it around, hold elbow. If you can hold elbow, you might be able to hold the foot. If you cannot hold the foot, grab strap, wrap the strap around. And it's important that when you're trying to hold the foot, and this is actually quite important, and I'm sorry I didn't say this before, is that you do not want to twist over to the side to try to hold the foot, because then you won't be able to fold forward. So we want to keep the torso oriented forward and then use the shoulder rotation to reach. And it's better to actually have a strap with a good chest alignment than to just twist your body over to the side. All right, understand? Good. Now we prepare. Take your right hand forward. You can hold shin bone or you can hold on to your foot. Then inhale, prepare by lifting the ribs over the lotus foot. And now exhale, fold. Very good. Internally rotate the right hip joint. We'll stay for 5. 1, 2, find the version of the posture that's right for you. If you don't need your block, you don't need it now, you can move it over. It's okay. 4, doing really well. Stay with your breath. 5, inhale, straighten out the spine. Exhale here. Very good. Inhale, come up. Let's remove that strap. Put it on over to the side. Put your block over to the side. And then let's remove the knee. Bring it on up. Straighten the leg. Okay, now cross your feet. Hide those feet underneath you. And inhale, we pick it up. Come on back. Find your plank. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Big breath in. Exhale, downward facing. Big breath out. Switch your gaze forward. Let's step. Cross the feet. Exhale, sit down. And now we're going to lie all the way down. So just find a moment and we'll lie all the way down. Roll the spine. And then we stay for a moment, stretch out your legs. And now we make a little transition. So as you have your legs extended, bring your feet together and hands near your hips and just collect your body. We'll stay here for 5 breaths. Close your eyes, feel your bandhas. Feel your pelvic floor. Good. Then open the eyes and inhale, lift your legs. So we can stay at Viparita Karani. Right? So this is our easy version of the shoulder stand. And we'll hold that for a few breaths. And then I'll give you an option to come up into shoulder stand, sort of the full shoulder stand experience. Okay? Now, let's see. We'll hold it for a few breaths. Then, if you want to try shoulder stand, you can fold your thighs into the body, push into your shoulders, and then inhale, lift the hips. And you can scoot the shoulders under. And sometimes shoulder stand is more accessible in kind of a V shape, all right? So if you have that V shape, that's fine. You really want to hold onto your hips, pushing your shoulders into the ground. However, sometimes it might be beneficial to actually find your straight line. We'll hold for 5 more breaths. If you're feeling any stress in the neck, please come down and take the Viparita Karani option, which is the legs up. 3, 4, and 5. Now exhale, fold your thighs into the body, curl toes under, and now we'll work the plow pose. So remember that we have a few different options. If your feet are up, hands on the hips, and just try to fold. If your toes are down, but you don't feel comfortable extending the legs or arms, then just keep the hands on the hips. And finally, you can interlock your fingers, roll under, and point your feet. Find what works for you. 2 more breaths. Remember, this is a shoulder stand, so you really want to push your shoulders down. And last breath, bend the knees, and we'll be here in what's called Karnapidasana. When you keep your heels close together, Fold your thighs into the body, and eventually you'll squeeze the ears with your thighs. And we'll hold this for 2 more breaths. If it's a little claustrophobic, don't worry, it won't last forever. And we got 1 more breath. Good. Open the legs, open the shoulders, and exhale. Let's come on down, all the way down. Feet down, extend the legs. Now we'll take fish pose, Matsyasana. So inhale, come on up to the top of the head, and we'll stay 5 breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now bend your knees, point the toes, and from here we can extend the arms. If your arms feel comfortable here, and your body and your neck all feel good, extend your legs too. We'll hold for 5. 1. If it's too much, just put those toes back down. 2, 3. Steady breathing. 4. And 5. Exhale. Slowly fold it down. And draw your knees up into the chest and inhale, roll it on up. And after you roll it up, we're gonna come back down to plank. So curl your shin bones under and inhale, find your way back to plank. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing, big breath in. Exhale, downward facing, big breath out. We got our last 3 poses. Exhale, bend your knees, cross, come on down to seated. Okay, so in our seated position today, hold on, let me just do a little rearrangement here. In our seated position today, we're going to explore how to work and integrate that half lotus work, okay? So what I want you to do is sit in a comfortable cross-legged position with your left heel drawn in and the right heel drawn in, so the heels are in line with the pubic bone, okay? Then we're going to work with half lotus position, and then I'll guide you into full lotus position at the end. If you have any knee issues or ankle issues, please don't worry about the lotus position, all right? Just stay in your comfortable cross-legged. Now, we're gonna do the left leg half lotus first. So I want you to hold on to your shin bone, glide your heel above your pubic bone, spin it a little forward, and hide your right foot under. And see if you can sit in a comfortable left leg half lotus. If it's not comfortable, you can grab that yoga block and place it underneath your left knee, okay? Very good. Now we're going to see if it's possible and accessible to do yoga mudra in this position or the fold forward. If you feel any stress on either of your knees, exit the posture. If you want to, you can take that block forward, hold your elbows behind your back, inhale, prepare, deep breath in, exhale, pivot forward. You can aim your forehead or your chin on the block or on the floor. Find what's better for you. And just a little fold forward is also fine. 1, 2, it's looking good. Keep going forward. So as you go forward, you want to really root your pelvis back as well. 3, 4, looks good. 5, activate your pelvic floor and inhale, come all the way up. I said we were going to stay for 10. We only stayed for 5. Sorry if I cheated you. Let's move the block over to the side. If it's underneath the knee, then we're going to switch our half lotus. So I want you now to open the left knee and put it under. And now we've got the right leg half lotus. Scoot it forward. If you need the block underneath your right knee, go ahead and place that underneath the right knee. If not, you can just keep block over to the side. We might use it in a moment. Open the palms, tips of the index fingers and thumbs together. And now, chin down, gaze at the nose tip. Deep breathing. 1. I count to 10 on this one. 2. 3. 4. Keep breathing. 6. 7. Keep feeling the body. 8. 9. 10. Very good. Now for full lotus position, your hips should be pretty warmed up by now. Keep that right leg activated and then glide the left on top. As long as you have a good space between your feet and the feet are not, sickling at the ankles, your lotus position should be safe enough for you to engage it and lift up into Utplutihi. So remember, we can use our yoga blocks for Utplutihi if you want. Lift your knees up if you've got your lotus position, and remember the alternative without the lotus, and I'll show you that in just a moment if you don't remember from before. Keep the knees up. Your blocks are going to be about hips width apart. So when you have the lotus, it's easier to lift up. You ready? So we're going to come forward into the shoulders. Tighten the muscles around your shoulder girdle and then inhale, pick it up. 1, 2, 3. Remember, without the lotus, your feet are crossed. 4, 5. Halfway there. 6. If you need to touch the toes down, it's okay. 7. Try to stay up. 8. Work it. Doing really well. 9. And 10. Exhale. Let's sit down. Slowly come out of your lotus in the same way that you entered. And then cross your feet. And one last time. Inhale. Come on back to plank. Find your plank. Exhale. Chaturanga. Inhale. Upward facing. Big breath in. Exhale. Downward facing. Big breath out. Inhale, come forward, cross your feet, and now we're going to lie down and take rest. So, slowly open your feet, scoot your sacrum underneath you, and exhale, roll your spine down. Then, take a moment, get your shoulders underneath you, and just open the arms, and then open the legs. A long, deep breath in. And as you exhale, relax, a big release. One more. A long, deep breath in. And a big release. Good. Now allow your mind to release. Allow the body to release. Allow the breath to be natural. And feel that inner light. The inner light being sparked as the fire of purification. The tapas starts to light the spark of spiritual illumination so that the physical fire turns into the light of knowledge. receiving the deep experience of healing physically, mentally, emotionally. Let all the energy that you work in the practice deeply integrate into your life. On the next exhalation, move your fingers, toes, hands and feet. Bend the knees and the elbows back to constructive rest position for a moment. And gently hug those knees into your chest, a little squeeze. We'll roll over onto the side. And then come on back up to a comfortable seated position. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel your breath, body and mind in unity. And your hands come into prayer position. A long deep breath in. As you exhale, softly open the eyes. Thanks so much for joining me on the practice. Super good.